So we always start with the fundamentals. So you guys should be able to see my screen. The fundamentals of prospecting is, or actually just fundamentals in sales is number one is you can make up in skill where you lack in numbers. Guys, I hope I sound like a broken record on this. That's the whole reason why I do these fundamentals. You have to ingrain these beliefs and understand with this one is that you can make up in skill where you lack in numbers, because when you're new, you make up in numbers where you lack in skill, right? You're not that good. No offense to anybody that's new, but if you're not that good, then you just need to talk to more people. And just by talking to more people, you get better. And if you practice as well, you can start making up in skill where you lack in numbers, meaning that you don't have to talk to so many darn people. And that's where we all want to get to, right? Be efficient in our time. And the only way you can be efficient in your time is bring a lot more value to the time that you do. And in this case, you just have to be better. You have to know how to have a sales conversation. Number two, the person who asks the questions control the conversation. I have a few people online already that are in my Monday and Wednesday live class that I do here at my brokerage. And they can attest to you that I don't just chit chat. I drink my own Kool-Aid, right? When we're having a sales conversation, in most conversations, I'm always actively asking questions. And what that means is that I'm typically always the one controlling the conversation. Number three, you can't change a person's perception or belief, only they can. Yesterday's class, I asked them when it came down to a price reduction, what would you say to me? And, a lot of them told me what they could do, told me what's going on with the market, and that's not going to change anybody's perception or belief. The only way that you can actually do that is by asking the right questions that guides them down to actually making a decision. Now, that decision may be positive for you or negative for you, but it's still a decision, because you just talking at them isn't going to do anything. Number four, you don't have a lead until you know the why and when. You don't have a lead until you know somebody's why or when. This is probably one of the things that everybody hears me saying all the time, because when somebody comes up, asks me for advice on how to handle a prospect or how to handle a lead or how to handle a certain situation, I'm always asking, well, what's their why? Why are they doing this? Why is their motivation? When is the scale of that motivation? It's hot or cold, right? So any type of situation, not just prospecting, but any type of situation, you have to understand the person's why before you can actually start trouble solving it, right? You can't just go to a doctor and say, I don't feel good. And then he's just going to start poking and prodding and giving you medication. He's going to ask you, well, what's going on? Why? Why don't you feel good? What's happening? What are your symptoms? The last one is, when in doubt, mirror their objection as a question. And we're going to be diving really into this. This is always a very good technique to use when in doubt, but it's also a very good technique to use deliberately, right? Just because you know that when you rephrase what somebody had said to you in the form of a question and you pause and you don't say anything, it's quiet, right? Their mind is going, oh my God, is it my turn to talk? So they're going to say something, but they're going to give you a little bit more information most of the time, right? You're going to get those people who are just kind of shut down, that will just, all they're doing is yes and no questions and not giving you anything. And I would say that you're better off moving on as opposed to trying to get them up to warm in the water with them. I do have another one that I added onto it last night. So another fundamentals. You'll never get better at anything without practice. In the history of forever, nobody's ever gotten better at something without practice. I'm helping my little girl with math. I'm helping my son with words and or spelling and writing his name and coloring. And the only way they're getting better is practice. And if you really think about it, if you really think about the things that you're really good at, you didn't get there with practice. Yes, there's natural ability. Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, they were very natural athletes. But you know what? When you start diving in, you see their work ethic in how many hours they put in practice. It's more than the competition. So those are the fundamentals. I want to go up, ingrain those, turn those into affirmations. These are my affirmations. We typically go over these, or we always go over these every Tuesday and Thursday, and just live by those. So now moving on, today we're going to dive in to expired listings. Now, expired listings, I'm gonna pause the share. Expired listings are one of the best sources of now business, right? This is the business, and old expireds. You have to treat them different. New expireds and old expireds have a different way of working with them. But it's one of the best sources of now business. This also ties into for sale by owners because the strategy or the conversation is very similar. So if you can kind of loop those in together, because the talk track is going to be very similar. Now, the talk track that you have with each one of the expireds, while the opening could be the same, the conversation, the talk track could be very much different because you're having a one-on-one conversation. Their situation isn't the same as everyone else's. And I think that the problem that a lot of people find when they're prospecting, or a problem or a challenge that a lot of agents have, is they're ingrained that, they have to stay on this script, right? Scripts are meant to have a step-by-step process for you to internalize, but you're supposed to get so good at scripts that you can now freestyle, right? If you look at all the scripts, they're all question-based and they all go back to the same questions. So really the major difference in any type of prospecting is the opening, is the conversation. So let's kind of talk about that. Resume share. Okay. So you're the 10th agent that's called me this morning. I can't tell you, this happens. If you're calling expireds at say 8 a.m., you're probably getting this objection by about 8:10. Definitely by 9 o'clock, right? There are agents who specialize in just calling expireds every single morning religiously. Now look, I was not that guy, right? I let everybody else always just hammer them, right? I knew that the chances of me being the very first one was unlikely because that's what's trained, right? I don't like being part of the masses, right? I think a lot of people operate their business a lot like sheep, right? They look and see what other people are doing and they just follow that path. If everybody else is calling at 8 o'clock in the morning and you know that, and that's a very popular training, is it the best thing for you to do in your business to be one of those masses? Now, I might not be right. You might be right, right? Everything I say is not right for your business, right? It's just a different point of view. But when I was in the game, I did a lot of expireds. It's because I had a system, right? Now, here's the thing. When you're actually getting these types of objections, number one is if you get hold on, let me back. If you're the 10th agent that has sold the problem, you've got to go into this conversation needing to control the conversation, right? If you don't start using a lot of questions and you call up and before you get the introduction, you're like, oh, you're the 10th agent that's called me, right? That's my old person. That's my expired voice. You need to make sure that you have some questions identified, right? Now, there are 2 questions that you have to answer in the consumer's mind that you have to answer. And it doesn't matter if it's an expired. It matters on every single person you call. You do this, I do this, every consumer does this. When your phone rings, and a lot of you, again, I'm a broken record. When the phone rings, the first thing that you think about when your phone rings, especially if it's an identified number, is who the heck is calling me? Okay, that's the first question, right? Now, maybe you have them in your caller ID, right? But, and if they're in your caller ID, the second question that automatically pops into your mind is what do they want? Now, if you know who they are, you know what and you don't know what they want, you'll probably answer the phone. If you don't know who they are, an identified number, and you don't know what they want, there's a 1 in 3 chance that you're going to send that to voicemail. How do I know that's a 1 in 3 chance? Because I track my numbers. I have a 1 in 3 chance when I call real estate agents who use their primary phone number as a form of business, and I have 1 out of 3 people that answer the phone. So when you actually are starting to deal with expired listings for sale by owners, around just listed and solds, what are the chances? Do you think that that's going to be a higher, do you think that maybe 1 in 3 will actually answer that as well, just from consumer behavior? Now, the lower the quality of lead, right, the fewer people that are going after it, the more likely that you're going to have somebody answer the phone. For instance, if you're calling around just listeds, if you're calling around just solds, if you're calling non-owner occupieds, kind of a more random choice selection, not random as far as who you're calling, but random as far as, you're picking a certain area, then you have a higher chance of someone answering the phone because a million other people aren't calling them by 9 o'clock, right? But as more and more people, chances are you're not going to get you're the 10th agent that called me this morning, because by call number 3, they're sending everyone to voicemail. So really, you'll get this 10th agent that called me if you're calling in the afternoon or maybe in the evening, right? If you're really focused on wanting to get the people, if someone calls me in the morning, I have 2 young kids that I have to get ready for school. I have a lot of things that I have to get ready for work. I'm not answering my phone. And the last thing that I'm going to talk to is somebody that's going to take my time without asking it, because most people are going to answer the phone and go right into a sales pitch. So we're not going to do that. But the first thing you have to be able to answer on the opening of your call with expireds, with for sale by owners, with any conversation. In fact, those of you who have conversed with me and I call you, what you'll find is that I say, hey, this is Brett. Hey, the reason I'm calling is, right? You'll notice that I do that. And if you don't notice, you're going to start noticing now that I just told you that. So let's talk to this. You're the 10th agent that's called me. Okay. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is going back to the fundamentals. We're going to reframe what they just said as a question, but we're going to mimic, we're going to mirror their anger, their frustration, their annoyance, right? I'm the 10th person that called you? Really? Like you're surprised. I mean, just act surprised, right? A lot of sales is theatrics. Let's accept it. Actually, a lot of just everything is theatrics. So you're the 10th person that called me. Oh my gosh, I'm the 10th person that's called you? Since when? Since 8 o'clock this morning. Since you were starting to get phone calls at 8 o'clock this morning? Yeah, and it's annoying. No, I would be annoyed too, right? I have this friend that I don't ever get angry around him. I don't ever share anything with him because over time I've realized that he always wants to play devil's advocate. He always wants to play the other side. And I got to tell you, sometimes when you're annoyed and upset, what makes you more annoyed and upset is somebody playing the other side, that they're happy and they're everything's all fine and good, right? Sometimes you just want someone to, especially your buddy or your friend, to be angry with you or to be annoyed with you, right? So when you're doing this, this is a rapport building skill. Oh my gosh, I'm the 10th agent that's called. Oh my Lord. Okay, now what we're going to do is called a pattern interrupt. After you've repeated what they said in the form of a question, you're angry with them, you're annoyed with them, you're being pissed with them, right? Now you're going to say, look, pattern interrupt, because when you say that, it's going to reset their mind. Remember, your brain is a computer, input and output. There is a certain language that our brains work with, and there are certain social cues and communication cues. By me saying, agreeing with them and saying, look, right, that's cued their brain up that I'm not done talking, right? So they're going to pause and they're going to wait your finish. If you really think about it, when you're having conversations with people that you're comfortable or uncomfortable with, there are certain cues that you know when it's your turn to talk. Now, there are those people who just talk, just talk, right? Now, if you get someone like that on the phone, look at your watch, and if it's gone more than 30 seconds, hang up the phone and call them back. That's the ultimate pattern interrupt. And just say, look, I'm really sorry. My phone dropped you. I've actually done that to people. I do that to people probably not daily, but probably at least, once every 7 to 10 days. You get those people that just random and just talk. So you have to do a pattern interrupt. You have to reset the conversation. But look, I just did it. But look, I'm really sorry. It sounds like you're getting really annoyed by all these calls, right? Okay. Now what you're doing is a technique called labeling. You're labeling their emotion, right? It sounds like you're really ticked off by getting all these calls from agents, right? Yeah, I am ticked off. Look, I would be ticked off too if by, 1 o'clock, I had 10 agents that called me. So look, while I have you on the phone, I don't want to take up too much time. The reason I'm calling, remember going back to the fundamentals, who am I? introduce who you are, and then the reason I'm calling. The reason I'm calling is because your home came up on my system and is expired listing. I'm sure you figured that out by now. And I was wondering, now this is where I change with certain things. See, I don't go straight for the jugular, right? I want to get to the first reflex no. Because I can't continue a conversation until I get past their first no, right? So I'm not going to go into it like what's traditionally taught is like, look, I would like to apply for the job of selling your home. What would be a good time to meet? Wednesday at 1 or Thursday at 2, right? I don't have the rapport to deal with that. And if he just talked to 10 other people, he's pissed off. The last thing he wants to do is have me. I don't want to be the 11th person that he's pissed off at. So it's like, look, I'm really sorry. It sounds like you're getting really annoyed on all the calls that are coming in, right? Yeah, I am. Well, look, I don't want to take up much time, and I definitely don't want to be that 11th person that angers you. Now, what I did is a reverse label, right? What I'm saying isn't going to anger him, but now subconsciously it's taken them on to think, for most people anyways, some people are just always angry. But for most people, it's like the Incredible Hulk. If you guys ever saw that, he's always angry. That's how he can control it. Anyways, that's my pitch from Avengers. Anyways, so look, I'm really sorry that you're I'm really sorry that you're getting annoyed. That is not my intent. I definitely don't want to be the 11th person to kind of push that down. But look, the reason I'm calling is because your home came up on my system as expired listing. I was just wondering, are you still planning or are you still wanting or are you still needing to sell this home? No, I'm not going to sell the home. I'm going to take a break. Oh, you're going to take a break. So if you don't mind me asking, again, I'm not trying to intrude. Was your goal when you listed this property just to list the property, or do you really need to sell it? Well, no, I need to sell it. Okay, but you're not going to put it back on the market to sell it? You're just going to take it off the market and then try and sell it like that? I'm confused. Guys, you might not be able to do that when you don't have rapport, but you can reframe that, right? No, I want to sell it. It's just that right now I'm getting bombarded by all these agent calls, and you're the 10th person that's called me, and we're just going to take a break. No, you're just going to take a break. So let me ask you this question: if there was a buyer that came in, if I had someone that wanted to preview your property and perhaps want to write an offer on it, I mean, would that present a problem for you? No, that wouldn't present a problem for me. That's why I want to sell your home. Oh, okay. So you still want to sell your home. You just don't want to take another 11, 12, 13, 20 calls. Am I right? Yeah. Well, have you already chosen an agent that you're going to work with? Well, I figure we're just going to work with the same agent that we worked with. Oh, okay. You want to work with the same agent who didn't sell your home to see if they could actually sell your home? Well, yeah. Okay. Well, look, Mr. Jones, I specialize in the market that you live in, and I specialize in selling homes that other agents can't sell. So I was wondering, would you be open to meeting with me just for me to share with you what it is that I do differently to get homes sold? Would you be open to that? Now look how I framed that, guys. It was very non-confrontational. It was very non-linear. It was very circular. It was very subtle. It still accomplishes. But look, I specialize in the area in which your home is located, and I have a very good, and I also specialize in selling homes that people can't sell. Now, subconsciously, his home is somebody that somebody can't sell, right? Now, would you be open to meeting with me? Look, that's no different than can I get an appointment with you? Would you be open? But the fact that I'm reframing it as would you be open gives them an option, right? It's not a hardcore salesy move. Would you be open to meeting with me sometime this week? Now you set the time frame, and so I can share with you what it is that I do differently. It's not what it is that I do to sell homes, because if you do that, the next objection they're going to get is, well, what is it that you do different, right? A lot of the things that you do, a good presentation, and what you're doing on the phone is a presentation. A good presentation will always address the most common objections or questions, right? Would you be willing to meet with me sometime this week so that I could show you my action plan on what it is that I do differently that could get your home sold for the most amount of money in the quickest amount of time? Would you be open to doing that? Well, now the question's either going to go, yes or no, right? They're either going to go yes or no. I could go down for days. I could do this dance for days, right? The fundamentals are always the same, right? So when they come up with an objection, I'm always going to reply with a question, asking them about their objection. And then I'm going to respond to it, or I'm going to level shift into that and handle an objection that I want. For instance, a level shift would be something along the lines of, look, I want to sell my home, but I'm just going to take a few weeks off. Well, look, Mr. Seller, I totally get that you want to take a few weeks off, but what I think I hear you saying is that you're just frustrated with all the agents. You wish that all these agents wouldn't just call you all the time and you could just find somebody that could get the home sold. Am I hearing you right? Well, yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Now, that's exactly what he didn't say, right? That's why it's called a level shift. You take something that they said and you paraphrase it into something that they didn't say, but likely because it's an expired listing, it's what they're wrong. Say, no, that's not at all what I'm wrong. Nope. I think I'm switching microphones. Hey, Ashley, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, cool. So I saw that my microphone was switching. So guys, that's what we're going to do. So that's what you need to do when it comes down to handling an expired listing. Number one is the opening, right? Ring, ring. The guy answers, hello. And I'm like, hi, Mr. Jones, my assumptive opening. Hi, Mr. Jones. Yeah, this is Mr. Jones. Hey, Mr. Jones, this is Brett over here at Keller Williams Irvine. How are you doing today? Well, I'm not doing very good because you're the 10th agent that's called me. What? I'm the 10th agent that's called you? Really? Yeah, the 10th. Calls started coming at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock in the morning, people started calling you. Holy moly. It's like 8:30. At 8 o'clock in the morning. Wow, that's got to be pretty annoying, right? That's got to be pretty frustrating because if you're like me, I have a pretty busy morning. Yeah, that is pretty frustrating. Okay, well, Mr. Jones, I don't want to be the 11th person that kind of sets you sideways. So look, the reason I'm calling is because clearly you know that your home came up on our list as expired listing. And look, I just wanted to see, are you still wanting to sell your home? Yes, I want to sell my home. Okay, but I'm taking the home off the market. Or no, I'm not. No, I'm going to take the home off the market. Let's go with that. Oh, you're going to take the home off the market, so you're not interested in selling your home anymore. All right? I'm labeling his emotion. No. I want to sell my home. I just need to take a break. Oh, you want to take a break. You want to take a break. Look, Mr. Jones, I totally get that you want to take a break and that you're getting a lot of calls. But let me ask you this question, if you don't mind, is if a buyer were to come up and actually want to write an offer on your property at terms that are agreeable to you, would that propose a problem for you? Well, no, that's exactly why I'm selling my home. Okay. So, but your home didn't sell, and so you're taking off the market, but you still want to sell it? Yeah, I still want to sell it. Okay, so your intent, so would it be safe to say that you're still planning on putting it back on the market in the near future? Yeah, I'm going to give it a few weeks. Okay, so you're going to give it a few weeks. That makes sense. So, Mr. Jones, look, I don't know if you know this or not, but I specialize in the market area. Are you familiar with what I do to sell homes and that I do a lot of stuff in the area? No, who are you? I don't even know who you are. Okay, that's fair. But look, I specialize not only in your area, but I specialize in selling homes that other people can't sell. So I'd like to see as you're clearly still interested in selling your home, would you be open to meeting with me sometime this week, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, just for me to share with you what it is that I do differently than what other agents can do, or maybe what your other agent didn't do to get homes sold? Would you be open to that? No, I wouldn't be open to that. Okay, so now I'm going to do a fallback. Okay, so you're not open to that. Would it be okay if I could come by and at least preview the property? Oh, you didn't see the home while it was on the market? No, I didn't see it was home on the market because, I've known about your home because I know this area, and the buyers that I've been working with, they weren't in the price range for the size of the home. So if you're open to me coming and actually taking a look to it, I'd be happy to share with you, my thoughts on where it should be priced based on the market, based on the condition of the home. But I'd like to come see it just so I could see it and actually relate to the buyers if you're planning on bringing it back onto the market, right? I just exactly said the same thing that I just did. I just gave an extra reason why. Most people will do something if you have a reason why. right? This is why I want to come and see it. And if you allow me to do it, I'd be happy to give you my professional opinion on where the price needs to be. The honest to God's truth, if your home hasn't sold yet in this market, because a house sells every time a baby sneezes in this market, then unless you're planning on doing some crazy remodels and doing some crazy additions that most home sellers don't want to, then it's probably going to be a subject of price. So if you're allow me to actually come and just take a really quick preview, 5 or 10 minutes, then what I would be willing to do is just give you a fair assessment, non-threatening fair assessment on what I think that your home would have to be priced at in order to sell. Would you be open to that 5 or 10 minutes sometime this week? Well, yeah, I guess I would be open to that. Look, guys, most people, you're going to have to go a level deep. You're going to get that reflex no. You're going to get that initial no, right? In fact, when I get cold called, I always want people to get me to that no, and I want to see how they respond to that no, because most people give up. You know, I'm going to wait a few weeks. Okay, so is it okay if I maybe call you in 10 days? No, have a fallback, right? Have a fallback that reframes what you want to do. Okay, I totally get that you want to wait a few weeks before you put the home on the market. Would it be okay if I could come and preview the property just so I can present it to my buyers and I know about it, seeing how you're going to be putting it on the market in the future, right? Then you have to be prepared. Well, why didn't you show it when it was on the market? Well, to be honest with you, I have known about your property. The problem is that based on the price versus what the competition is, the buyers that were interested in properties in this area, in your area, they were more attracted to a lower price, right? So, you know, if you'd be open to allowing me to come by and preview the property, here's what I would be willing to do. I would be willing to give you my professional opinion on a person who's previewed every single home on the market, who's sold X amount of homes, who's this awesome, who can walk on water. And I will give you my assessment on, you know, what it is, what a fair price is. Now think about what you guys just did, guys. You offered him a price opinion on the price, but you're not trying to sell him for the listing. You're not, you know, there's nothing in it for you at this moment from their perception. Your perception is that you want to make sure that you get face-to-face. You want to have that direct communication. You want that 5 or 10 minutes as a micro commitment, as a micro meeting, so you can further the conversation. Because when they're ready to actually sell the home, they're going to remember the people who actually they had a conversation with. They're going to remember your personality, and they're going to remember you more so than the, you know, 10 to the X power agents, that number of agents that actually contacted them. I appreciate all of you who came on live. I appreciate all of you who are watching on Facebook. You know, please comment below, and I will catch you guys on Thursday. Same bat time, same bat channel. So you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, everyone.